Dean, what are your thoughts on the result today? I mean, obviously deeply disappointing exiting at this stage, but what are your thoughts on the team's defeat?
Well, I think, like we've said a couple of times, it's really, it would have been so nice to be able to reward the team as a whole with some good results, and to get a couple of wins at least, like over this the semi-final, because standing there 2 weeks ago, on the boat, and as it was sort of desperately trying to keep it afloat, you'd almost, at the time it felt like the team was over and out, and just the monumental effort to get it back out there was just phenomenal. And yesterday, I think it was a challenging day for effectively what was a brand new boat again. And so it was, in some ways was an achievement to get around. We always want to win and we want to race well, but so it was disappointing not to be able to race it as well as we'd like. Today we went out there knowing that we could easily go out there and win a couple of races if we could put it all together, but we're just up against a team that were polished, they were sharp and made no mistakes, and so very disappointing to go out, particularly right now, and it's I'm sure it's going to take a few days to really sink in.
How much do you think that capsize has played a part in it?
Well, at the time you try and think about it as not really having too big a impact, in the fact that we had the boat back out on the water. But I think the lost sailing days really is the thing you underestimate. We weren't quite as sharp as we needed to be around the starting area, and just all of the mechanics, the execution of manoeuvres and things. We just made too many small mistakes, and it adds up. And you can't expect to give away an advantage at the start and be able to sail back up, and pass boats. You've got to treat every race as your even performance, and you've got to sail better than the other guy. And so I think just probably that little bit of race sharpness is the one thing that you really really lack.
Just lastly, there's been very little time to reflect, Dean, but how much has your performance here been due to mechanical issues, or do you think tactics on these new boats have really played a role?
We're in a class which is it's just purely development. Yes, you've got to sail the boats well. Yes, you've got to execute manoeuvres. You've got to start well. All the normal things. It's no different to any other racing you do. I think we'll reflect on the capsize as probably really hurting the opportunity. Where we were, we felt like we were in a strong position after the Christmas Cup. We made good progress. We didn't do ourselves any real favours in the first couple of round robins, but it's I'm sure there'll be a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes as we sort of go through the the debrief of the whole campaign. But I'm incredibly proud of what this team has achieved. Still, it's obviously very, very disappointing for everyone not to be able to carry on further into the competition. But it's it's been a really amazing experience. These boats are phenomenal. I think way better than anyone ever expected, and I think we see by the standard of the racing, it's just going to get better and better.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Okay. Obviously, Terry, great degrees of disappointment. I mean, this isn't the interview you wanted to be doing. What are your immediate thoughts on Team Prada and your exit of this cup?
Well, my immediate thoughts are that Luna Rossa did a really good job of developing their boat over the last, in between round robin 3 and 4 and the semis, and they clearly are a step on from where they were. They were a step on from where we raced them on that dreadful day, and I think it's going to be an interesting competition. I agree with what Jimmy and Kiko both said. Coming through the semis in some ways is a blessing in disguise because you get to keep racing and keep developing.
Ultimately, this result, Terry, is it down to the capsize? How much is it down to that terrible moment?
I'm probably a bit too close to it to answer that question objectively, but I felt the program was rolling along pretty well up until then, and we'd had 2 not great days on Friday and Saturday prior to the round robins, and there we were having a great race. And so we'll never be able to answer the question of how much more we would have developed in that time, which we know in the pace we were going was going to be a meaningful improvement in our performance. And what was clearly on display was Luna Rossa's improvement in their boat speed, in their starting, in their communications, all the lessons that they learned, they improved upon. And so, it's sport, it's competition. If you sit on the sideline for one, you don't want to miss the next play.
Terry, it's early days, I know, but you've got a great team here. What are your thoughts on American Magic and whether we will see you in the Cup in the future?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we have a great team. I think from the senior leadership and Hap and Doug and Roger and Commodore Lotz and Commodore Culver, I mean, we're truly blessed to be in the situations that we're in. If they allow it to happen, they know I'm in 110%. And the nice thing is we have such good relationships, and they know they've had their first taste out of it. They know what it takes to do it, and if they feel that it's a worthy cause, then why not? Why shouldn't we keep chasing it? Because I believe that it's one of those life achievements that is absolutely worth chasing. But we'll see. Oh, you look like you're getting ready.
Thank you, and thank you for today.
Yeah.
You're a star.
Thank you.
Well, Jimmy, happy scenes at the base. I know it's only one step to the ultimate goal, but how important is this win and the nature of the victory for the team?
Yeah, well, you're right, Charles. It is just one step, but it's an important step. And I think for the team to be under the pressure it was, coming out, from potentially getting the shortcut through to the Prada Cup final to having to go against American Magic and, the sort of sudden death, that's exactly what you want when you're preparing for a big final. So I think we needed that series. We had to put a lot of work in coming into it, very, very critical in-house, and we've seen the rewards of all that hard work that the entire team's put on.
There seems a marked step up in performance on board. How much quicker is the boat and how much more development might we see?
Yeah, the boat's a lot faster, no question about it. We did a lot of changes. In actual fact, it was difficult to decide what to do and what not to do and I've seen that in the past campaign, especially in San Francisco actually, where there's so many ideas. You really got to make sure you make the right calls. And there was a few different discussions had coming into this series, but I think we did the right ones. But now we've got 2 weeks to go out there and really try and nail down a couple more to take a step forwards. We know the British have been working pretty hard. We've had some great racing against them, and I don't expect it to be any less than what it was.
Next up, the final. How big a step up will that be to make it through that challenge?
Well, it's payback time. We owe those British guys from the round robins. We had some great racing leading up to them. They're a very solid outfit, got some good guys, some guys I know really well and have worked with in the past. But that's exactly what you want as a competitor. You want to go against the best. And if it's anything like that last race was, we went against them, man, bring it on.
We're looking forward to it. Thanks, Jimmy. Have a good rest.
Thanks.
Commodore Culver, I know it's early days, but looking towards the future, can you let us know at all if there's any plans for the New York Yacht Club, to be involved in this event going forward?
Well, I think I'd answer it this way. The New York Yacht Club is always part of the America's Cup, always has been, and in some way always will be. It's part of our DNA. You can't mention the America's Cup without talking about the New York Yacht Club, and you certainly can't talk about the New York Yacht Club without mentioning the America's Cup. So we'll take some time. We'll take a look at what the future holds and what we do going forward in putting forth a team, but we'll always be part of the America's Cup. You can rest assured of that.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Francesco, a big step forward from the team. Can you try and put into words how important this win is?
It's very important because going home now would have been a tragedy. And I can feel how sad it is for the Americans, and makes me feel sad for them. But it's a sport event, and we had to win, and we won. And it's a great relief for all of us, because the idea of just going home would have been terrible.
Let's talk racing. 4 great performances out on the water. I know it's all about the 4 points, but how happy are you with the team's race performance?
Super happy. I think we performed very well. We did few mistakes. It's not a long list, I think, this time. Last weekend we had a long list from our coaches. It was many pages, and I hope it's going to be just a couple this time.
Tell me about what's next. I mean, it's a couple of weeks now, and Ineos are waiting for you in the Prada Cup final.
It's going to be about improving the boat even more, improving our communication on board. What we have done in the last 5-6 days before these semi-finals, we have to do it double. It's 2 weeks this time.